Hey, welcome back, everybody. I've been playing a few games and I've been recovering from my terrible um, downward momentum of my ELO. And it's getting a lot more fun because, yeah, I'm getting more wins than losses, and my ELO is coming back up. So slow and steady takes a lot longer to get your ELO back up than it is to tank it. Yeah, I think I lost the 100 ELO in just a matter of like a week or two, and it's taking me like a month to or more to bring it back up. So I'm glad I'm off the tilt. I am doing some good moves. And anyhow, let's just get into a couple of games I played recently, and we can see what I came across. I am still studying with Stockfish, and I am learning from my mistakes. We will put out a video later, like a beginner video, of just the first 4 or 5 moves in these lines that Stockfish likes you to play. The best moves for the first 4 or 5 moves. This might be able to help you in your games, especially if you're wanting to do something similar like me. And then I'll do follow-up videos in the future to get us further in these lines. What I've seen as being a lot more common, maybe even some of the odder looking ones that may be a little bit less common, but still common enough to want to learn. Anyhow, let's get into the games. Okay, and this guy is rated 849 from Sudan, and I got the black pieces, and he started off King's Pawn match, and immediately he brought out the queen. I don't know when people stop doing this Wayward Queen Attack, but it's kind of annoying. But um, anyways, I didn't even think about how I normally develop, and I just played a move, and unknowingly, I was uh, doing what is known as the Kiddie Gambit. So they bring out the kid early, I gambit a piece, and then I block. And this is actually still not so bad, even though they have a queen, have a pawn. Stockfish likes it. Even this eval bar doesn't even care that much. But it's like them taking that pawn gives you a lot of really initiative, a lot of opportunities to keep attacking the queen, getting out more pieces and attacking the queen. And I don't think taking that pawn is worth it um, for white. I wouldn't want my queen to be constantly attacked in this opening. But anyways, let's go on. Yeah, it's not too bad, and just develop, hit the queen, and they did actually move the queen back to the best square, and I just brought out the bishop, attack the queen again, castled, protect my king, prevent any additional checks, and just line up the bishop to the queen, and they moved the queen out, and still attacked, even though that they're stockfish and the computer uh, knows that there's better ways of attacking. I just wanted every single move that I possibly could to hit the queen, to target the queen, make it uncomfortable. So that's what I was doing, and I needed to protect the knight. Um, and so I just keep attacking, like moving that pawn up, attacks the queen from the bishop. I was kind of hoping that they would just take the rook and forget about the queen, like that with that discovered. But they saw it, they moved it, and hit the queen again. And this time, I was hitting the queen and also hitting that bishop. I would not mind one bit trading off this knight in order for them to stack their pawns on that file. I feel like it'd have been good for me, but luckily, I was just really shocked when this happened. They brought out their bishop. They forgot that the queen was getting hit, and and this is a 15-minute game. Like they have plenty of time to think about moves, and anyways, just yeah, keep pressuring the queen, and they will eventually make a mistake, and hopefully they make a mistake with the queen. And this is called the Kiddie Attack, and which is really a funny name for um, for a chess opening, like Kiddie Attack. Like, where did they come up with that? Seriously, that's pretty funny. Um, but anyways, took the queen. They were captured, and at this point, I just want to trade everything off. Everything off. Like, let's get down to an end game. Like, trade off all the pieces. Let's go. Um, trying to prevent them from taking higher value pieces and just try and trade everything off. Like, um, I was thinking with this, I'd be able to do like a discovered pin the knight to the king and then capture the knight somehow. But I didn't see that they had this move where the knights would defend each other. So now that kind of made it a bit of a mistake on my part. I wasn't able to recapture, but just trying to attack pieces, offering trades, and he didn't want to trade. Probably smart of him to do that since he's down material, and preventing it from getting pulled off. But um, now this knight is not being defended. He attacks my queen though, and I think he might have forgotten about his knight not being defended. So I took, he takes, and I move my queen over here to get close to the king, maybe gobble up a pawn or two, also attack the bishop. Things are looking pretty good. Able to take a pawn, and he's taking a couple pawns of my own, but I don't really care too much because I got attack coming in with some major pieces that is not looking too good for him. And I just take a pawn where I can. He attacks my queen. I repin the bishop, and so he can't recapture when I try and attack the knight if he leaves it there. And he unpinned the piece. I just take anyway because uh, two reasons when I was looking at this. Take this, he recaptures, I take back, forking the king and the rook. And that's exactly what happened. So it was really easy play. But they saw like a quicker mate. I just wanted to get off like the rook's material before trying to mate him, and that was considered to be inaccuracy. But when it's getting to be the end game like this, it doesn't really matter that much about inaccuracies. I I just want to make sure that I win uh, and not blunder too much. And I can't believe I made this move. I checked here, and he could have just recaptured my queen. Like, that was pretty terrible. And so he blocks, and then I bring out my rook, and he took my queen. Oh, that was not good. And then immediately after that, I do a additional blunder. It's like I'm just giving away all the material that I just picked up, and I was just rushing it, just was overconfident in myself, and I just should have stayed focused. If I would have just recaptured this one first before going after silly little pawns, that would have been so much better. So just kind of moving the pieces around. I was hoping to march the pawns up to promote a new queen, and wasn't sure how the game was going to end because, I mean, I do have more pawns, and um, but I let go a lot of material, so it's just trying to get what I can, and here I wanted to get that um, king away um, because I want to be able to promote a pawn, and maybe I should have moved some of these other pawns up here on the other side of the board, uh, just protect it with my rook, but just kind of moving some of the pieces around, and I really wanted him to get out of protecting like these pieces. I wanted him on this side of the pieces so I can start marching up my king up the board and try and get him to not be able to uh, defend those. So that's what I was trying to work at doing. Just move my king in, and then what spots can he go to? He can't go here, here. If I move the rook there, he will be forced to, he can't go there. He has to move to one of these squares. So he chose that one. And then, I just marched my pawns up on the other side and not giving up the rook. And then I can protect the other pawn I have on the other side. But this rook is doing a very good job of preventing the king from crossing the line to get to those pawns. So, but I had to protect that one pawn. But there's no way that they would have been able to protect um, or fight against both pawns that are marching up on the opposite sides of the boards. I forget what they call it. When you're moving the two pawns up and they can't protect against both. And so traded down, and yeah, this is kind of easy um, end game. And I thought the easiest thing to do, instead of trying to just trap the queen in the corner, is to promote and make another queen. And I was just trying to do it the easiest way that I could, and um, and since yeah he moved his king close to my king, I thought, yeah, I can throw a couple checks in and promote to a queen, and also throwing a check in, and try and keep the queens connected, protecting each other as I constantly check the king. So I was able to checkmate the king, and it was a great game, and I was able to get my rating up a little bit. And I played some really terrible games, like in a good way, but in between, like there was one game where my opponent got less than a 50% accuracy, and I got like just under a 60% accuracy. It was just really wild and crazy, and uh, just ugly is all I can say. But anyways, let's get to the next game. So this one was against Eduardo from Colombia, and I got my rating up to 818 when I played him. And let's see how it started. So these are all normal, yeah, book moves as you see here, uh, and Stockfish approved moves. Um, this is the oh, what do you call it? The Rui Lopez, bring out the second knight, and they closed off the middle, just developed the bishop, um, and then they came and did a bit of an odd move by bringing the bishop out. There's a streamer out there that called them the Taekwondo bishops, where they just like crisscross and target both knights. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to do that, as long as I have like the bishop pair, and um, bishops are worth a little bit more than knights. But and this is still, so far, every single move is a Stockfish approved move. So there, recapture with the queen, and that was the last one. That's the last move that I had that um, was kind of the obvious move, and also the top move that Stockfish would have chosen. I didn't know what to do here, and so I thought, well, just challenge the bishop. And I had no idea that you're supposed to bring the knight down here. But if I ever come across this again, I will know. Just bring the knight down here, probably reroute it to the other side, and call it a day. But instead, I challenged it. They took with the bishop, and I recaptured with the queen, because I was not really wanting to double up the pawns. I wanted this pawn to like protect the bishop and the other pawn. But the proper way to have recaptured was with that pawn. And then they captured that pawn and also put pressure on my queen. So I moved it back to where it was to also put pressure back onto that knight, and they just moved it back. So they got that free pawn, and then I moved up the pawn, um, and that's okay. They're technically, as you see in the evaluation bar, they're a little bit better, but not all is lost. I just retreated the queen back, brought it back home. I knew that the queen being out, I just didn't like the idea of it, and just wanted to keep it safe and prevent it from getting any further attacks on it. So they attacked my bishop. I just pulled it back down to the escape square that I made when I challenged that other bishop. So yeah, challenged the knight. Overall, when I was playing this game, I felt like I had a pretty good position. I felt like I was winning, even though like the opponent had a slightly better position. So just try to protect my king by castling, bring out and try and attack the pawn and try and gain control over the file. But it's just wanting to try and figure out some way of attacking and a way that I can make a piece, like gain a piece, have a winning, like just win a piece, basically. I didn't like the fact that he was up a pawn and I wasn't. So I tried to line up the queen and bishop. So, anyways, just continuing to try and put pressure. And I took, and I'm assuming he didn't uh, count all the material in recapturing because the trades were worked in my favor. And now he's down, um, according to this, 3.75 material. And I just had to keep from blundering and just try and trade down. And I always love the bishop pawn pairing because they really do a very good job of defending each other. It's hard for a person to really attack it. So I just wanted to kind of keep it there until like maybe this pawn tried to attack or something, which they do. So by moving that pawn, it allows me to put a check on the king, and I didn't really mind the square that it was on. So just kind of move to prevent any critical pieces of getting recaptured. I couldn't move the bishop anywhere over there, and so I just brought it all the way back. The uh, the rooks are connected, so I'm happy with that. So I'm just trying to trade up pieces, and they maneuvered the knight all the way down here, and that really did surprise me. It was just kind of seems kind of dangerous to me. So I just move my rook up so it doesn't get attacked and put pressure on his knight, and he put pressure on again, and I just kind of danced around my rooks as he's moving them around. So um, they just kind of go in a little clockwise circle, and I was nervous if I would have recaptured. I don't know, like I mean this is not an even material, but it gets rid of a important pawn um, that could cause problems later. So they took the bishop, and I was completely happy with that because that bishop wasn't really doing anything. So I feel like the trade worked in my benefit a lot more. So just trying to get my rook on a file that wasn't completely worthless, and um, and trying to get my bishop located in a better square. So he was marching his pawns down the board, and I thought, well, I better move that pawn up to stop these pawns from marching up. Not liking how they connected the pawns, and I just want to close off that side of the board. I figured that would be good for me. We can't promote if all these are locked in, and I still had ideas of taking the bishop around and getting him from the backside if his rook ever moves. And I was a bit concerned that he was going to be bringing the rook down like that, but I did not want to take because I was afraid if I took, he could just connect this pawn and have a better, more healthy pawn chain. And I wanted him to have a crummy pawn chain. So that's why I didn't do that. And I wanted this pawn over so I could move this pawn up, protect all of my pawns with other pawns, and then allow my rook to move freely around the board. So he took that file. I moved over so I could maybe offer him a trade and also prevent him from moving his rook down here. So he attacked, I just moved, and this with him moving the rook down here, it allows me to attack his little pawn chain there, and then I could march up my pawns and promote. So I just start gobbling up pawns where I could. I wanted to take that and put pressure on his rook, but yeah, he attacked my pawn. I just protected with the queen or king, and also block this from offering me any checks. So I'm just trying to keep everything safe, play normal moves, and I knew he couldn't attack me with his rook the way things are positioned, and I just wanted to eat up his other pawns. So it really surprised me when he came on this side of the board. It's like, what are you doing? I was I was a little nervous about him trying to grab these pawns, but they're protected, so he'd just be losing a rook. Nothing to really worry about too much. And so I took that and attacked his rook again. And I know he has ideas of wanting to move that rook up and trying to get a skewer to capture that rook and make me lose the game. So my bishop came down through here in time to act as that block. Otherwise, I would have moved this up sooner if I knew that the bishop couldn't make it here on time. So the rook is in jail. He can't move anywhere without getting captured because my bishop protects the squares and these pawns trap him in too. So he can't move it. And so I want to bring in my king. I was thinking about targeting these pawns if I can kind of keep moving up. I don't think he could make it over in time. But he did something unexpected. He went here. It's like, what is that move? This, I can offer him a check right here. And it's a classic tactic of offering it or doing a check and then do a discovered attack and take the rook. And I took the rook, and it was considered to be an inaccuracy. Again, I just wanted to get his stuff off the board so I could attack. And he had resigned after I took his rook. because all he had left was his king and three pawns, which were all met with additional pawns. So I had three pawns here, a rook, and a bishop. Way more material than I would need to checkmate him with. So he just gave up. And as you see, I did use up quite a bit of my time. Like out of the 15 minutes, I still had 6 minutes left on my time. And he really didn't utilize his time very much. He still had 12 minutes. And we did 53 moves. But yeah, I I went with the longer time controls because I just wanted more time to think about my moves, make sure I'm doing a good job, do a blunder check before I actually move, and make sure that I play a solid game. So it looks like it's working, blundering less, increasing my ELO. Something I had forgotten to do is shown the game review. Like here's the chart, and it shows that he played with the 80% accuracy, and I played with the 84% accuracy. And I like to see that I didn't have any blunders, I didn't have any misses, which is also fantastic. But I did have like one mistake, which I believe was a true mistake. It was at like near the beginning when I recaptured with the queen, and they just took the pawn. So that was the only mistake I had, and I was able to recover from it. I had a 95.8% accuracy in the opening, fantastic. 80% in the middle, and 89.8 in the end. So I overall feel like I did really good with that game. And with the previous game that I showed you, I just had a 70.5% accuracy and he had a 67.5. Not the greatest. I flubbed up the opening a bit, but I had a really good middle game and a end game. So I'm glad to see my ELO coming going back up, and I guess we'll see you again soon.